Thank you. The gentleman from Missouri, Mr. Luetkemeyer, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and welcome, Chairman Powell. Good to see you again. We're in the middle right here of a really disastrous situation with Ukraine, and the part of the approach to corralling the Russian advance there is on the financial side. And it would appear to me that we probably didn't do this as quickly as we should have. Didn't look to me like we had a plan. If we really wanted to get involved financially, we should have been sitting here saying when they move the 1st battalion or regiment or whatever amount of troops you want to talk about on the border, we should have said something, well, okay, if you move another one there, we're going to start doing things to you. And we didn't do that until they started to invade, and now all of a sudden we're playing catch up. So that begs the question, we know that China is watching all of these actions very, very carefully. They're looking at what Russia does, how we react, what we do, how the rest of the world reacts, what they do. So to me, we need to be sitting here as a country, as the Fed, as congressional individuals saying, we need to be ready for the Chinese when they invade Taiwan, because I see no reason why they will not do that shortly. So if we don't prepare for that, shame on us. So my question to you is, are you beginning to think about what kind of actions you would take, or support, or suggest to the administration should China take over Taiwan or attempt to do this? Because this is going to be a completely different scenario because of the size of China, the size of the military, the size of Taiwan versus getting into Eastern Europe. So that's kind of a large question, but can you like to jump into it?
Sure. So, those questions are really questions that are dealt with at the National Security Council and the Defense Department and the intelligence agencies and the Treasury Department. We're interested students of all that, and we have our technical expertise that we can contribute, but honestly, we're not,
Well, Mr. Chairman, now, I listened to you very carefully a while ago, and you made the comment that you're looking at making policy for anticipated situations in the coming months with regards to a number of things. What happens with the economy, what happens with inflation. And so if you're not doing that, I understand you may not want to tell me today because that would be helping the Chinese who are probably watching this right now. I understand that. But just a sort of wink and nod to say, yeah, we're looking at that would certainly be nice because it will give us a level of comfort to know that we're not going to be behind the 8 ball again.
Well, as I also mentioned, we do model alternative scenarios of various kinds, and we, in fact, with every Teal book, which is our document that we use at the FOMC, we run half a dozen of them in great detail, and people study those, and it helps them think about alternatives. So I'll just leave it at that, if I could.
Okay, thank you. I'll let you off the hook on that one. With regards to inflation, we've talked about it significantly here today, and I think sometimes that you're giving way too much credit for it and giving way too much criticism for it. I think that there are a lot of things that are outside your control that happen that basically affect inflation that you have to react to. You don't make monetary policy from the administration side, you don't make legislative policy from the legislative side, and yet you have to react to all those things. So I had an economist, I'm the ranking on small business, I had economists come in to talk to our committee the other day. And I asked him to break down the different causes of inflation. And I said, well, let me identify at least what I think are 4 significant causes. One is money supply, the amount of money that's pumped in, either through Fed actions or through our actions as Congress, regulations, supply chain / workforce situations, and energy. And he broke it down like this, and he had some charts, and he started going off, and I said, just give me the percentages. And so he said, roughly 40% due to money supply, the money that goes in as a result of Fed actions or congressional actions, 20% regulations, 20% supply chain, and 20% energy. So if you look at that, and I know Mr. Foster, while ago, was looking for some answers, so hopefully I've helped him with this question. If you look at that, basically you don't have a lot of control over regulations, you don't have a lot of control over supply chain, and no control over energy policy. And money supply, if the Congress gets involved and passes these massive bills and throws a lot of money in there, you don't have control of that either. So the amount of control over this is probably in the neighborhood of 20 to 40% at best. So, my concern is that when you say that you're trying to help things with inflation, it really goes back to the administration and to us as Congress you know, the administration, first thing they did was stop the pipeline, stop oil drilling, and prices went up. And so that right there is 20%. So it's important, I think, that we understand that. I'd like for you to comment, if you would, just for a second. I'm running out of time. If you'd like to comment.
Sure. Yeah, interesting breakdown. We can continue this discussion. You know, we would have a little different assessment. I would just say, though, we welcome, you know, this is a lot about supply side issues, and we welcome any help we can get on that, and we're looking for help from improved supply side.
Okay.
Thank you very much. The gentleman's time has expired.